Have you ever been told to just look on the bright side when you're feeling really down? I mean, it's probably the most common piece of advice out there, but what if I told you it could actually be making things worse? Today, we are diving deep into the hidden dangers of toxic positivity.
Think about it. It takes a ton of courage to be vulnerable, right? To finally open up about something that's really weighing on you, only to be hit with, just stay positive. I know we've all been there. And man, can it feel like a total shutdown when you're in that dark place.
And you know, the wildest part is that the people who say this usually have the best intentions. They really do want to help. They want to make us feel better. But here's the twist. Psychology actually shows that this kind of advice can totally backfire, making the emotional pain even worse. It sounds completely backwards, I know, but we're going to unravel it right now.
So let's get into it. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this whole explainer. Because the last myth we're going to bust really gets to the heart of how even the most well-meaning support can accidentally damage the trust in our most important relationships. Okay, first things first, let's get on the same page. What exactly is this thing we're calling toxic positivity?
Let's be super clear. Being happy is not the problem. Positivity is a great thing, but toxic positivity, that's something else entirely. It's this relentless, almost aggressive insistence on being positive all the time. It's a world where discomfort, sadness, or anger just aren't allowed on the guest list.
You've seen these all over social media, right? Good vibes only. Look on the bright side. And on the surface, they sound so harmless, so uplifting. But when you're actually going through something tough, these phrases can feel like a punch to the gut. They basically send the message that your real, honest feelings are wrong.
All right, let's tackle our first big myth, this idea that we should always be positive, no matter what. It's a nice thought, sure, but it's also a recipe for an emotional train wreck. Because when we try to force positivity, we aren't getting rid of the negative feelings. We're just shoving them down. And they don't stay down for long.
I think a lot of us grew up believing this, right? That being strong means you never show weakness. You just put on a brave face, you suck it up, and you definitely don't let anyone see you cry. But what if that's all wrong? What if real strength isn't about hiding your feelings, but having the guts to actually feel them?
And this is where the science comes in. And it's fascinating. Research is crystal clear. When we suppress our emotions, they don't just vanish. They get stronger. It's called the emotional rebound. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can do it for a little while, but the moment you lose focus, boom, it shoots up and smacks you right in the face. That's what happens inside us.
And this leads us directly into our next myth, which is all about the labels we put on our feelings in the first place.
Just think about it. We've been taught to categorize our emotions. Sadness, anger, fear, those go in the bad box. We're told to avoid them, to get over them as fast as possible. But what if we've been looking at this completely backwards? What if these so-called bad emotions aren't our enemies at all? What if they're actually trying to help us? Okay, here's an analogy I love. Your emotions are like the dashboard lights in your car. When the check engine light comes on, you don't just put a smiley face sticker over it and pretend it's not there, do you? No way. You pull over and figure out what's wrong. Our emotions are that check engine light. Sadness signals loss. Anger tells us a boundary was crossed. Fear is a warning of a potential threat. They're not the problem. They're the messenger.
Now this is where things get really personal. Because as damaging as it is when we do this to ourselves, it's a whole different level of pain when the people we care about do it to us.
And I want to be fair here. I honestly believe that most people who say things like, well, it could be worse, are genuinely trying to help. Their intention isn't to hurt you. They're trying to offer perspective, maybe help you find a silver lining. But the impact can be devastating.
When someone invalidates your pain, even unintentionally, it sends a soul-crushing message. Your feelings don't matter. And that can lead to so much shame and loneliness. You start to withdraw. The real antidote here isn't trying to fix it. It's just acknowledging it. A simple, wow, that sounds incredibly hard, can be one of the most powerful and healing things you can ever say.
This dynamic becomes even more critical and, frankly, more dangerous when we start talking about mental health.
Let me be absolutely clear. I am a huge believer in the power of our mindset. It can be an incredible tool. But it is not a cure for clinical anxiety or depression. The idea that someone can just think their way out of a serious mental health condition isn't just wrong, it's incredibly harmful.
A mental health condition is not a character flaw. It is not a sign of weakness. It's a complex medical issue with roots in our biology, our psychology, and our environment.
Positive affirmations can absolutely support healing, but they are not a substitute for evidence-based care. And there is zero shame in asking for help. It is one of the strongest things you can ever do. So after all this, you might be thinking, okay, so is it just bad to be positive? And the answer is a huge resounding no. But there is a massive difference between healthy, authentic optimism and its toxic cousin. And that's what we're breaking down next.
I absolutely love this slide because it hits the nail on the head. Healthy positivity is all about the power of the word "and." It's being able to say, this is really hard right now, and I believe I have what it takes to get through it. Toxic positivity denies the first part of that. It just says, I'm not allowed to feel bad. It's a tiny shift in language, but it's a total game changer.
And this brings us to the incredible work of Dr. Brené Brown. She says emotional validation, not forced optimism, is what builds resilience and trust. Just let that sink in for a second. It's not about pretending. It's not about forcing a smile. It's about being real. That's where resilience is born.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that you have permission. You have permission to be a whole, complete human being. You don't have to pretend everything's okay when it's not. Real strength isn't about the mask you wear.
Real emotional strength is about having the courage to feel the full spectrum of human experience without judging yourself for it. It's about letting yourself feel the joy, the grief, the anger, the hope, all of it. And it's about giving the people in your life the space to do the same. Hey, if any of this resonated with you today, I'd be so grateful if you'd hit that like button and subscribe for more. And if you can think of even one person who needs to hear that it's okay to not be okay, please share this with them. Let's give each other permission to feel. Thanks so much for being here.